there's a rumor from Matt Miller, who is a draft guru, if you will. He's like one of these guys, done the draft scene for a little bit. And according to him, the Dolphins, and particularly Brian Flores, he loves Micah Parsons. Loves Micah Parsons.
I told you
and that
if you want to know how Brian Flores is going to feel about a player, look at that player and look at his flexibility. So when you talk about Micah Parsons, one of the things that you talk about is, his ability to, guess what? Cover a linebacker down the middle of the field. His ability to maybe do some pass rush on the outside. His ability to play in the inside. His ability to do a lot of different things. That's one of the things that makes him appealing. Same thing with Kyle Pitts.
Hopefully not a crybaby like the last one that was here.
But again,
hopefully his mom doesn't have a Twitter account.
Those are the differences between guys who appreciate being that way and guys who expect to be treated a certain way. You see what I mean?
Are people going to freak out though? Like, I mean, it probably wouldn't be, I would guess it's not going to be at 6, but he is a highly regarded prospect. So I don't know if Micah Parsons is going to be there at 18. So are people going to freak if they go get a guy who's regarded as, the best defensive guy on the board?
Yes.
Maybe move up from 18, maybe go from like 18 to 14 if he's still there to get
him. Yes, but I think in an ideal world, people would like to see 2 offensive players or 2 weapons come out of the first round.
I would.
Does that make sense?
No, if you were to tell me about a Sans Pants draft, like I would love it if you told me that they came out and just got flashy weapons. That would be so much fun. I would love the fact that if it was Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and Najee Harris. That would be so much fun. Now, like it changes if they end up in the second round, they get somebody like Travis Etienne or Williams. Like I'll still leave wiggle room. I'll take my belts off if they get Jamar Chase, belts coming off. If they get
room for dessert,
just a little. I got my comfy pants on. So if they go another direction, like if they take like an interior lineman at 18, or they get Jalen Phillips, I'll be like, I'm not taking my pants off, but my belt's still off. We can still leave room for the pants to shimmy on down for the second round.
Here's the question that I would have to you, Robbie. Mm-hmm. Is it easier to get more talent later in the draft at the linebacker position or the wide receiver position?
Oh, wide receiver by far.
Now, okay. Now I'm going to ask you this. Is Kyle Pitts far in the head at his position as Micah Parsons is?
Yes.
You understand? Like, is everybody going to say, this is the top of the class, this is the best of the best, this is a game changer? People aren't saying that about Micah Parsons.
Yeah, like problem with Micah Parsons is he didn't play this year. Like Kyle Pitts is fresher on everybody's mind, and so yeah, Kyle Pitts is like a generational freak. Like once every 10 years, it's kind of tight end wide receiver hybrid.
But neither did Jamar Chase, and he's going to get drafted before the Heisman Trophy winner.
But Micah Parsons, you would say, Robbie, like in all these lists, he's definitely like 1 or 2 as far as defensive players are concerned, and prospects. Like it's him,
right?
Pat Surtain's son.
Yeah.
Who's going in top 10, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he going top 10?
Probably.
Yeah, probably not going to fall past 10 to the Cowboys.
Probably. But keep in mind, it's also cornerback versus linebacker. And if I tell you can get an elite cornerback, I think more people would jump at that over an elite linebacker, not even necessarily a designated pass rusher, just linebacker.
But if he played this year, like if we're talking about that and character concerns, like him not playing and stuff that he did as a freshman as his big red flags, and you have a defensive coach, and this is the guy that he really wants, and there's still going to be opportunities to add pretty good weapons later on in the draft. Like, is that gonna? I think the reason it would have everybody melting down, if we're gonna be, if I'm honest, the reason, which we have later, coming up later today, if I'm like, the only reason that would have you freaking out would be because they traded back up to get to 6, right? And we're all assuming that's for a weapon. But what if it is? Hey, we want to get the best defensive guy. Like, is that going to have? Because there's no guarantee he's going to slip
right
down in the draft. Because some
Think
people
of
might
it
just
this
take best
way.
player.
Who makes the bigger impact? The best offensive player, not counting quarterback. Who will make the biggest impact on this team this year? The best defensive player or the best offensive player?
I mean, the defense carried them last year.
Okay, but
and the defensive player was their best player.
You can't play that game from year to year and not be able to score. You can't, especially in this league. You can't do it. Like, you can get yourself into a situation where you're slowing teams down, and periodically you may shut them down, but it's not going to happen for 17 weeks.
But if we were to take a step back on this year, right? If you let's just say the Dolphins did take Parsons, and then let's say they ended Najee Harris, like, how much a dynamic running game, how much more would that help this team? This team couldn't run the ball for squat last year.
Agreed. But I like now that we're talking about the realities of what the team was last year, right? I'm glad it's starting to come out instead of the old Robbie take, Tua's a bum. You just talked about, hey, the defense carried that team. Who failed you the last game? Okay. They had no running game.
Well, everybody failed the last game.
I mean, most quarterbacks that don't have a running game don't have as much success as they could have. Now we're all coming to these realities where, to me, right,
well, let me
to point at the quarterback is ridiculous.
It's in plenty of mock. If it goes, Pitts goes to Atlanta, and it does go Jamar Chase to Cincy, and you're in this position where you could take Devontae Smith, or you could take Jalen Waddle at 6. Micah Parsons is there, and he's the best defensive player.
Here's why, though, and this is why I always say you got to play the draft, because now you're looking at a situation where now you're going down to your next pick is 18. It's a fair assumption that maybe one of those 2 receivers would be available.
Right.
But if you did it the other way and took a receiver, Micah Parsons would not be available.
Correct.
So you have to play the draft also. You see what I mean? How the draft plays out plays into who you end up selecting. Because if they go on a run of quarterbacks and the receivers fall down, the Dolphins may say, you know what? We can get something else and get any one of the 3. Or we can take Kyle Pitts and move up. Or, you have a number of options that it's funny that we sit here and look at these mock drafts and corner all these guys, into what we think they should do or what they will do. When the fact of the matter is, if one team 7 spots ahead of you picks somebody different, then the whole chain of reactions that'll occur from that one team picking somebody different will go all the way down the draft.
Well, anyway, I said something like a couple weeks ago.
For Twitcher.
I said something to the effect a couple weeks ago of, like, none of these quarterback prospects are getting the negative press. And it's been pretty clean on everybody.
No, there's one that fell, though.
Well, now it's all changing. Now it's negative press season, because this week I've heard about Justin Fields playing baseball, screwing up his throwing motion. Mac Jones, damage is done. He's did that to himself. But now even the king, even the chosen one, has gotten negative press around him of his own doing. His own people have screwed him. And that is Trevor Lawrence. Because his dad said, this is bad. I mean, this is red flag as far as red flags are concerned. his dad said that he is not award driven and he's not a I want to win a Super Bowl at all costs kid. Can't be a franchise quarterback.
Nope.
He's out. He's out.
Can I ask something? When has a parent ever spoke on the behalf of their kid who's an athlete and it worked out?
Oh, dropping
maybe Tom Brady's dad.
No, because he wasn't like nobody had questions about Tom Brady because he got drafted in the 6th round. So they were all. His dad wasn't saying you guys are making a big mistake.
His high school coach even said there's no doubt about it with the person he is. He could walk away from football tomorrow and be fine. His new wife says there's more to life than football for Trevor Lawrence.
Well, you know who's the last person they said that about?
Josh Rosen.
Yeah. Look,
Notepad.
I will say this. The one thing that will turn off other players to you, and this is not just in football, this is in any sport, any team environment, is if ever you are in that environment and your teammates feel that this is a side job for you, like this is not your priority.
Yep.
And so it may not even be true. It may not be that he wants, because guess what? If it was all about that, he wouldn't have returned for his last year. He would have been the first pick the year before. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily going to read too much into it.
No, I don't think he could have, man, because he left as a junior.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to be. He wasn't allowed to be in the draft last year.
You're thinking about ATN.
No. No, I'm saying if he would have, he couldn't have. He couldn't have. But my point being is that that's not something you want to ever have to explain.
So mad at my dad if he has that quote come out in
Right.
Sports Illustrated. Shut up, Dad.
Right. Along with his wife. He's like, no, we just started this journey.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Call up the high school coach.
Kimes?
Hey.
No, what's not Kimes? Whatever. Not Kimes.
Hey, I have a talk with everybody. I'm like, hey, here's some terms. Gym rat, okay? Fire in the eyes. Well, what is this? You're trying to make me out to be some broad person?
Now he's gonna have to cut his hair.
Has to.
Nobody wants. You don't want to be seen like Surfer Dude.
No. You look like it. Yeah, you look like Surfer Bro.
Can I also say this?
And how about this though? So that franchise, I'm just saying, Jacksonville has the chance to have a head coach who could drop it willy-nilly. He's just be like, boom, I want to be with my family. It can happen at any time. You never know. It could be a 3-game losing streak. Boom, I'm done. And now they're going to draft a franchise quarterback who's like, football.
No,
they could both quit. They could both quit on the same day.
Here's what I would say about football more than any other sport. You can't get your toe wet in football. You either in or you out.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's too much time and too many things that go into playing football on a weekly and a yearly basis. See, basketball, you can just go to the park and play. That's warm up for the season. Then you just go and get in shape. So you can go at it, a little bit different. But football, there's weight training. There's film study. There's a lot of time consumption that if a guy wasn't committed to it, you would know long before now.
Trevor Lawrence says, I want to be the best that I can be. I want to maximize my potential. Who wouldn't want it to be? You kind of waste it if you don't. It's hard to explain that to people because I want people to know how passionate I am about what I do. It's really important to me, but I don't have this huge chip on my shoulder that everyone's out to get me, and I'm trying to prove everyone wrong.
And his dad took those comments and got him feeling this about football. Give it to him. Could maybe. Like, that's the way. Like, this. Wait. Now, that's what Trevor Lawrence said. Does that sound anything like what his dad said? No. Oh man, family members.
After his
I know
wife
you
said,
love your baby. Stop speaking on their behalf.
His wife said that there's more to life than football. He goes, yeah, and I think people mistake that for being a competitor. I think that's unhealthy to a certain extent. Just always thinking that you got to prove somebody wrong and that you got to do more and you've got to be better.
Now, see, they took his words and took the wrong thing out of it. Like he didn't say he didn't want to be successful, right?
No, he's just not.
He didn't say that the reasons that the things. Here's what he was basically saying: the things that drive me aren't the same things that you're going to hear every day. I don't have a chip on my shoulder. It doesn't mean I don't want to be great.
It would be impossible for him to have a chip on his shoulder. He's literally been the best thing in football for 2.5 years.
So take those same words and now think of what you think. You go, you know what? It's pretty exciting because we know it's true that he didn't use the old company line. But you got his and one and his father who read the same quote, got asked for a follow-up and ran with it. And he's like, no, that's not what I was saying.
Let's see.
Hey, man, family members, look, dads always kill it. Because dads are proud, they want their son to be unique and different. So they say things.
Trevor Lawrence, the cover says, what is the best prospect quarterback in years out to prove? Absolutely nothing.
There you go. See, now if you're your organization,
Robbie,
now you got to. Now he's got to answer questions. So what do you think? You think the first questions that they ask him, hey, what does it feel like to be in Jacksonville, Trevor? No, that's great. Hey, I heard you're not that interested in football.
Maybe his dad is trying to get him out of Jacksonville. He'd be like, oh, listen, we got one last ditch effort here.
No.
The Dolphins.
Hey, no chance. There is no way the Jaguars are drafting anyone else other than Trevor Lawrence.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, could you imagine that?
That would be a wild draft.
The first pick in the NFL draft.
Oh, man.
Jacksonville Jaguars select Mac Jones.
Oh, my God.